Hey guys, welcome back to Beardchanics garage. And Woza is here. Nathan, RS Tuning Limited. We'll put the details in the description. And he just drove 5 hours. Do you do that just for me or for everybody?
Just for you.
Ah, just for me. So if you're 5 hours away, do not call him. But yeah, no, really appreciate the effort because he's coming from a long way. And it's a pleasure to finally meet him. And as you can see, he's already cracking on.
Now he's swearing about V-band.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically today, new turbo, new lower and higher pressure fuel pump, new spark plug, and that should be us at more or less stage 3. So one thing we are going to lose is our blower valve, because apparently it doesn't play well with stage 3.
No, they just leak precious boost.
You take the turbo from the side rather from the top, so it's quicker, isn't it?
Yeah, much quicker. Much quicker. Yeah, I mean the issue is obviously these cam actuators. So people have to remove these. Ideally,
yeah, otherwise it's in the way, obviously.
Yeah, ideally you need to put them back in the order they came out, particular ones. Another issue I see as well is when people are a bit rough with them, they can misalign. These,
yeah.
What happens? They only have to be knocked slightly, and it will take that actuator out of operation, which will take them all out of operation. You'll lose your pops and bangs. You'll lose launch control, your rev limiter. It's all determined by these.
All right. After many hours of fiddling on. Feeling bad for Nathan, because you know I'm just looking, but yeah, the old turbo is leaving. And there you go. What is in there? You can check the logo and the phone number.
They do come out a lot easier when you take that bracket off, but it's not always practical to
take it off first.
Take it off.
All right, nearly home. Boom!
There we go.
In the bin.
So this bracket here,
yeah.
I tend to leave them off. It's not really necessary. I mean, it's just one bolt. Obviously, there's 4 bolts clamping that turbo on.
Yeah, it's
so
not.
Not really doing much.
If anything, there is more chance of this letting it go before that, no?
Yeah. So this is a pre-revision turbo, and this is actually, on the revised ones, they've got a 6mm Allen key, which makes it much easier to take off.
Yeah.
If you try and get a socket, if you imagine where it's on the engine, if you're trying to get a socket,
oh yeah, you need a long one to start with to bypass all of that.
Exactly.
Long ones, and
then
you've
with
got
the
no
cat
leverage
here,
on as well.
Yeah, when you've got a cat obviously here as well, it's just fucking impossible. But yeah. So
and then this bad boy go in. So if you look like here, size-wise, is it?
It's nice, fairly solid. There's a little bit of play on it. But can you see this on the inside?
Yeah.
So this is from factory. This is part of the casting process.
Yeah, that's what Rob was saying. I was impressed on how manky that looks stock.
So it's basically what we used to call porous casting. It's when you get like air trapped in the casting procedure, but yeah, they're all like that.
Yeah. So it does actually affect performance.
It will create a little bit of turbulence. That obviously, you know, when you got air coming in. But yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, even just looking like that, you can see it's bigger, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is more machined and more open.
Yeah, exactly. As well, on this revision, well, pre-revision, so the actuator motor is actually 180 degrees on the revision, so the socket will be here, which makes things a bit more difficult. Again, when it's on the engine, trying to put your hand round to do the typical Volkswagen Audi clips. So it's much easier from there.
What do we have to transfer to the new turbo? This sensor?
Yeah, so this lambda, this is bank 1. So this is your fuel mixture basically. So if you ever have an issue with bank 1, I believe the code says it's downstream of catalyst, where it's not, it's actually upstream. But yeah, bank 1 will cause you all kinds of issues. The secondary one, not so much.
Yeah, this will need to move as well.
Old return line. This water feed as well, these are twats to get off sometimes because they just bind inside.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it gets rusty, isn't it?
Oil feed is left on there. And the water feed on the back we've also left on there.
Yeah, and I guess just the delete. Muffler delete we need to move for now as well. Just syringe it and pass it into the oil feed basically, isn't it?
Exactly that. Well, I'm going to put the oil return on first.
Okay, now remove the oil turbo out of the way.
Balance that.
In the bin. Nice. This isn't Mighty Car mode, we don't put stuff in the bin, we hoard stuff forever.
We hoard it forever, yeah.
And do you, okay, so you actually rotate it a little bit as well so that the bearing move.
I'll do for now, and then what we do, when I put the turbo on the engine, just before we start it and fit the oil feed, we just do it again, just to make sure that there's...
Well, I guess that's one of those things, it's better rather be safe than sorry kind of thing, and it doesn't take that much effort, so it's...
Yeah, I mean it won't necessarily damage the engine straight, the turbo straight away, but you just put in wear on that bearing without it being oiled.
Well, yeah, and it's a bit silly on a brand new part. Yeah. Actually, rather affordable though, the Venom, aren't they, compared to like other turbo in the range?
Yeah, I mean they're fairly new kids on the block. Some good numbers. I've seen 600 horsepower out of one. You generally tend to do 550 easily with the right supporting mods. That's without methanol.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was a red Cooper we did, made 556 just on pump fuel.
Really?
Yeah.
99 octane though?
99 octane, yeah.
Yeah.
Which was really good numbers.
And 550 still safe for the engine, even if it's not built? Cause
it depends on the map.
Yeah, because I thought above 530 start to be a bit...
Yeah, it depends how... I mean, ideally what you want is a flat torque curve. So when the turbo comes in, you want that torque to be consistent, no spikes.
Yeah.
It's the spikes that will bend the rod or fuck your gearbox. But yeah, I mean...
So you can have 550 safe if it's tuned right?
Yes.
It's all about the tune?
Yes, yeah. I mean,
well, you can't push more in it, because you said more you need meth really to kind of cool things down a bit.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, a V5 turbo on pump fuel with 980cc injectors, you know, your intercooler and all your other mods, that'll do well over 550. I mean, the reason why they keep it, so Unicorn Motor Developments, where we do a lot of tuning on this platform, Rick doesn't like to go over 550, that's his limit. And this year we've done, I don't know, 20 cars, all done over 500 horsepower. They're all customers of mine, and no issues.
Yeah.
So it all depends as well how you treat the car. So obviously your servicing intervals need to come right down, like oil service for instance every 5,000 miles. Make sure it's nicely warmed up.
Yeah, that's something I didn't used to do and I start to do now. I used to just put it on and drive away, and now I actually sit there, waited for it to just idle at 800.
Yeah, that's right.
And do you wait longer than that, or you don't wait to have oil temperature, because that can take a while?
Oh yeah, so ideally when you go and boost, before you go and boost, you want your oil temperature to be about 85, 90.
That I never put my foot down until I see 75, 80 oil stuff, so that I knew.
And it will last you, and that's why a lot of people blow them up is because they just
Abuse
start
too
it.
much. Yeah.
Start it.
Need to respect it, innit? It's a performance car. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a daily banger that you just don't care. Innit?
I mean, there was actually a car. It wasn't from Unicorn, but they mapped it, and the guy brought it back a month or two later, saying the map has blown up the car. These ECUs will store data on them, so if it brings up a fault code for any reason, it'll have what time it was brought up, what the oil temperature was, what condition, what RPM. So this particular engine that had blown up, the oil temperature was 21 degrees. It basically had bottom end failure. Oil temperature was 21 degrees. Speed was 102 miles an hour. And the revolutions, I think, were about 6,000 RPM. So basically, he just got on it, started it, and screwed it, and it went bang. And he was trying to blame the map. But obviously, having that information, you can then turn around and say,
yeah, fuck you, mate. It's not the map, it's you, you twat.
Definitely pilot.
Warranty.
Bosch, new turbo going in.
So we put
No rust yet.
a new gasket for the downpipe, which is that silver
little, slightly lighter green.
And then we've got our new manifold gasket.
If you can't hear jack shit, you've got to complain. It's bloody Gonzo Custom. Bloody annoying guy.
There we go. Oh.
Trying to escape now. You said yeah, we go too quick. You want me to hold it or?
Yeah,
Have you something?
if you grab me a little tray, turbo blanket.
Oh yes. You think they are worth doing normally, or?
I ran one on mine.
Yeah.
There's mixed reviews on them really. Some people say that it overheats the turbo and it can make them crack, which, I mean, you've got to be fucking racing on laps. It depends how you drive the car, really.
Yeah, if you go do a 24 hours endurance race, you might have an issue.
Yeah. I do a lot of work on customers from Birmingham who race at night for money.
In Mexico.
And these guys are doing upwards of 150 mile an hour, and they'll have issues because they're not giving the car a chance to breathe, not watching the oil temperatures. So that's when, you know, I mean, stage 3, they're not designed to be flat, you know, flat foot everywhere. Just spirited driving.
Yeah.
Not flat out everywhere, mate.
Yeah.
I'm not like that at all.
I mean, obviously you've got an oil cooler, which is
Yeah,
one of
well,
the best things
you
you
know.
can do.
You said they get a bit hot, so best to do just put it
Yeah.
in. Turbo more or less mounted. Nathan had a bit of fun with the old, what was it? The oil return line connection to the block?
Yeah, so rather than take it out between the actuator, which is an absolute nightmare, I always take it out the block. But the issue is because the oil feeds on a rubber pipe in the middle, so it's basically trying to line up with a hole in the bolt, and it kept springing up. So we fought with it for about an hour.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And we got there in the end.
Alright, after many struggles, the bloody turbo is attached and all hooked in. But yeah, it was a struggle, innit?
It was. If you ever want a turbo fitting and you've still got your catalyst, walk off.
So yeah, guys, you know, if you've got the choice between D-Cat or Cat, and you want your turbo change, go D-Cat. Or at least, I don't know, have you worked on catted ones that were less of a pain, and maybe the Miltech one especially, or?
I think the Miltech one's a bit fatter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really quite... the issue is the bracket, just bolting it back onto the bracket. It's a very tight space. And obviously you've got to get your hand underneath. When your hand's bent like that, you haven't got much strength.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, you need small child arms to do the job otherwise.
Yeah. But we're there anyway.
But it is on with the blanket. Right, racing stuff going in. Because you said that stage 3 is a normal spark plug, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you look And the different. This is obviously a stock one, hence VAG and NKG.
Yeah.
If you look at the electrodes, you see we've got an angled one here and we've got a hooked one. Now, what happens, particularly at stage 3 when the engine gets really hot, this will actually melt off, drop into your cylinder and cause all kinds of damage on your cylinder wall, your rings, your pistons. So we go for these angled ones, which are less prone. And obviously you can see the gap, the electrode, it runs colder, so a more controlled, consistent spark. Very expensive, but pay for what you get.
Considering the stock one might end up dropping some metal in your in your cylinders,
Yeah.
definitely worth spending it. If you're going to spend the money on turbo and all of that, don't cheap out on those. They are expensive, but all things consider a fraction of the cost of actually going stage 3.
And another top tip, when you're putting plugs in, always do it by hand first. You don't want to cross thread your spark plug.
Yeah. And then the torque.
Yeah, so torque, we're just putting it up to 24 newton meters, which doesn't sound much, but that is specification. We got that.
There you go, the satisfying click.
Alright, so we'll put all the jazz back.
Nathan get tracking on the high pressure fuel pump.
And here again, it's just the internal on the ring that holds me.
Yeah.
But if people want to see details, I believe you did a video on this one too, isn't it? I know the... Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
So just go check it out.
So what we've got to do first is push this out. This is press fitted in. So I use a bearing splitter and we're just going to push this collar out, which is going to allow us to take the spring in it off, and then we need to take this collar off.
Is it just the oil pump itself, or is just...
Yeah, this is what we're going to be changing. So there's a piston and then there's a collar. What you've got to be really careful of is this seal here seals the end, seals from oil of fuel. So you've got fuel this side, oil this side.
Yeah.
If that's compromised, you start getting fuel going into your oil, which will thin your oil down and ruin your engine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen quite a few failures. Easiest way to remove it is just that, just push it down gently and just lift it up.
Yeah.
And that way you're not damaging that seal. So what we will do beforehand is just give that a bit of a clean with brake fluid. And yeah, let's get the Autotech in. So there we go, there's the old one.
So that's just the little parts that get changed. That's literally it.
Literally it.
On increasing the size of the hole from 1 mil to 4 mil.
Yeah, that's right. So the surface area of the new one we're going to be putting in. So basically this pushes down and compresses the fuel, which allows it to obviously fill the rails with pressure. Because the Autotech one is larger, we've got a larger diameter there, it's got more of a surface area, which means we can generate more pressure from it. But yeah, difference.
Oh
in the
yeah,
surface
and
area.
this one on top is not perfectly flat either, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's right.
Which will increase pressure, I guess.
Yeah. So that is why the Autotech produces a lot more pressure. So you get about 250 bar, sometimes 270 out of that, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now
As I said, with that seal, you don't want to be
gentle.
too vicious with it. There we go. Now you do need a special tool to take this off. Obviously sits in there and screws down. And it doesn't have to be mega tight.
No, just kind of like snug.
Yeah. There we go. and then this is the worst bit. So because the stock one is press fitted to hold the collar in place, so this collar here is press fitted onto the stock piston. With the Autotech we have a split collet, and that's the easiest way to tell when you pull the pump if it's got an Autotech or not.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously with internal it's a bit difficult. Mind you, when you get the piston out, you could see that the surface is not the same flat.
Yeah.
So you could tell through that as well.
But
you will see this before you see the other
yeah, it
bit.
just saves you taking it apart. As soon as you see it's got a split collar, you know it's got an Autotech. Now what we have to do with this, or what I use, is a spring compressor. So I put the collars in place.
Ah, that's why that's out then.
That's a bearing splitter. Spring compressor.
So that's not why that's out.
I should get it. There we go.
Nice. Satisfying when it gets in there, right? Right, so that's the jet of the high pressure fuel pump.
Yeah, so this feeds the multi-port injection rail. If you can see the hole, it's less than a millimetre. I don't know if it will show up on camera. So what we're going to do is drill it out to 4mm. And what this will do is it will relieve duty of the low pressure pump, because you won't have to pump as hard to get the pressure to fill the rail through that tiny hole.
Yeah.
So we just run a pilot hole through it first, and we're going to go straight down.
Popping at the bottom.
Like so. And we're going to use our 4mm.
Boom! High pressure fuel pump done.
You can't tell though, isn't it? That's one of those more, it's a bit unsatisfying because it still looks the same.
Yeah. Doesn't look any different.
But it's when you run it, you're going to be quite happy to feel the difference, isn't it?
Yeah. That's it. One thing I should probably tell you. So sometimes when we fit a low pressure pump,
Yeah.
it can bring up an engine management light. Because what happens is the ECU sees more fuel pressure than it's asking for, and that's just because the pump's larger.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen all the time. That will obviously get changed when it gets tuned.
Yeah.
So what it is it happens at low RPM, and it's when the rail meets a pressure and the ECU goes, why is this rail at this pressure? I haven't asked for it.
Yeah. So it's basically like, I'm asking for X amount of pressure, yet I'm getting X amount, something is not right here.
Yeah. So it'll be low RPM flow fault coded. People always panic when it happens. I'm like,
it's not fine. It's a bit. It's just the engine saying something's not quite right, but it's not saying I'm broken either.
No. But that will generally. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time. Probably happens 1 out of every 10 cars I do before it gets mapped.
So we are nice in the dark, but we are taking. Well, keep saying we, but you get the idea, guys. Basically, yeah, fuel pump, low pressure fuel pump. So here you basically need to get the all. How do you call the surge tank, isn't it?
Which?
Or is it not quite a surge tank?
No, it's not quite a surge tank.
It's more a fuel pump assembly kind of thing.
Yeah. So in the S3s and the Golf Rs, the 4-wheel drive variants anyway, you've got a lift pump this side.
All right.
What that does is that feeds across to this pump and it fills the basket, and I'll show you from where.
That's why you don't want to be smoking or making a spark. Always amaze me is that fuel, you can just throw electronics in there.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just...
Yeah, a lot of people panic when they see me cutting wires here and that, and you try and tell them that it's not conductive fuel, so no need to worry.
No, but people, you see liquid, your first thought is that any liquid on electricity, but it depends the type of liquid. Bit fiddly that as well, isn't it? Because I guess...
So this pipe here, what I've got in my hand,
yeah.
that comes from the lift pump.
Okay,
So when you go under half a tank, when the fuel is here, it basically uses that pump to pump fuel back into the basket. So what I've seen quite a lot is when someone's had the pump changed and this hasn't been connected properly. So this is really stiff to get off. Yeah. When you push it back on, it'll actually click and lock in. But a lot of people just push it on and think, oh, that's on. They'll give it a tug and go, that's on. What happens is when fuel pressure goes in there, pops out, and they go below half a tank and the engine starts stuttering and they're like, oh no, something's wrong. It's always this. But it is quite tough to get off, but that one was relatively easy. Now,
nice couple.
So what I do is take this off because these are quite sensitive.
Yeah, that's
this is the fuel level sender.
Oh wow, it's actually quite a high-tech one, isn't it, compared to like some I've seen? I mean, high-tech. It's still low-tech kind of thing, but...
And then I just give this a clean because it's just nice to clean it out.
If you want details on how to do this mod for you guys, again check Woza. I'll put the link to the video.
Oh my goodness.
But it shows you how to do it properly. Quite fiddly, but if you're patient, you should be able to do it.
Oh, bloody hell. There we go.
Alright.
Then we'll leave the back seat off until we've tested everything.
Cool. Oof.
Back the door.
Is this what I think it is?
Alright. So I think just put battery on try basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
No. Oh yeah, it is loud now.
Well, it's primed everything else. It primed the headlights. I saw it do that.
Going to complain about the usual stuff.
Yeah, it complains about...
Battery's been off.
Hasn't exploded yet.
Then I'm going to monitor fuel pressures.
Yeah. A lot of the fault, if you just turn the steering or move the car, they go away.
Yeah. Well, I always check through it just in case we left the cam sensor off or...
Yeah, double check, yeah.
Heat sink, that's landed too, yeah. So these are your fuel pressures. So you've got specified value, high pressure, specified value low. So this is what the ECU is requesting. And as you see, actual value is 5 bar. That's right, exactly what the ECU is requesting. And your high pressure pump is blob on as well.
Yeah.
Now when we rev it, what we're after is seeing them all return to normal. So that is all good to go.
Nice. And here we go, all done. Again, make sure you check Woza, because I'm so thankful you came here today, mate, and helped me with this. No way we could have done that, you know, so we more do like the stuff for like people who don't have skills, but definitely if you want more details, check out Woza, link in the description. And yeah, mate, just been a pleasure just
No problems.
meeting you up on the, well,
Yeah,
being in your way as you work more than anything, but yeah, so pleased, man, so pleased.
It's definitely interesting.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not one of the easiest ones I've done, but definitely worth it.
And yeah, so now somebody is going to be on a long trip back home. I'm going to sleep so well tonight.
Yeah, it's well. Only 5 hours, but
yeah. On us, we are going to try really hard not to put our foot down.
yeah,
And book a tune. And as you've seen, now you've seen the episode we started on the airbox. So we've got a few bits we need to finish to make sure it's cold air on what you call the flap.
yeah.
The flap control valve thing
Yeah.
is unplugged at the minute. But when that plugged back on, we will obviously tune it. We will bring you on the journey. And after, we'll check out what the Nord 260 on quarter mile.
It's going to be a
it
fast
now.
car.
Yeah.
Our turbo is one of the best turbos you can get for this platform, so yeah.
And the beauty, like you said, is when we put meth or eventually build the engine, it has a capacity to go above 600.
Oh yeah, all day long,
So,
all day long.
so basically we are future-proof to basically our goal of 4-cylinder 600. Obviously, if we can get more than 600, we will get more than 600. To a lot of extent because of the reg plate. I love a dyno 666 same bike horsepower just to match the plate.
Yeah, that would take some doing, but it's possible. Very possible.
Yeah, to be honest, at 600, my
Yeah.
goal was always 600. Here's a 660. It's a bit funny, but to a lot of extent,
Yeah.
not something that better.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Nice.
Anyway, guys, make sure you like if you like the video.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe if you haven't yet. Go subscribe to Woza, because it doesn't. Not only did he used to have an Audi S3, so if you've got that platform, does a lot. He's doing a lot on the MQB platform. Like
Yeah.
the meth kit I want, he's already done an install video on it. So basically, yeah, no, if you've got an MQB platform car, definitely subscribe to both. That way you get, slightly more easy mode you can do yourself, and then you get more expert thing. I mean, purely from experience, the knowledge you have of the platform, I'm so pleased you
Yeah.
came on do this, because so many stuff I had no idea,
Yeah.
and actually have a better understanding on how the
Everything
car
works.
itself actually works.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I work on them pretty much every day. They're not a hard engine. Once you get your head around everything, it's a good engine. It's very
Yeah.
reliable as well.
Anyway, let's cut it there. Somebody's got to go home. See you in the next
See you
one,
later.
guys.